So Travis is back. Well, not back. I was on his show, and now he's on my show. Travis Pangburn. Travis Pangburn. He had me on his show, and I invited him to my show because we had a very interesting discussion. He is a philosopher and the host of Pangburn podcast. And it was an amazing discussion with him. So I'm like, man, come on my show. Travis, how you doing?
It's great to be with you again, Jesse. Merry Christmas. I haven't talked to you since Christmas.
I know. Merry Christmas.
How was it?
Amazing.
Yeah?
Santa was amazing, man. I cleaned my fireplace out so he can come down the chimney because I knew he would carry a lot of gifts. And I was grateful, and it was an amazing time.
And I'm sure the question on my listeners' minds, your listeners' minds, did you get lucky?
I stayed up all night and got lucky. I stayed up all night and got a Mexican. Oh, and Happy New Year, man.
Yeah, it's a happy new year. It's a new year. Look, everyone's mad about 2020. 2020 was a good year to me. There was more people online, more people engaging in conversation. I think that was a good thing for the war of ideas.
Yeah.
All this cancel culture bullshit that's going on and all over social media right now, though, this is bad for the war of ideas. We should be bringing together opposing opinions and allowing them to engage in public discourse, as opposed to, kicking Donald off Twitter and things like this. I think is bad for the war of ideas.
It's amazing. And so just for the folks who have not been, don't know you at this point, I know a lot of people do. Are you a Christian?
No, I'm an atheist.
Yeah, I thought
Let me tell you what I mean by that. So, I've heard my whole life, I've heard people claim that gods exist. And I say, oh, okay, that's cool. Why do you believe that? And so far, the demonstrations I've seen for believing that gods exist or a God exists are insufficient. I don't think they support that claim. So I basically sit in a position of, I don't believe your claim. Come back to me if you have some more evidence or proof, some kind of demonstration that's sufficient to demonstrate the claim that a God exists.
What type of demonstration do you need to see that would convince you that God exists?
That's a really good question, and it's a weird one because if let's say a Jesus-like figure was to appear before me, let's say the one you typically see, the kind of the white version of Jesus with the long hair and the beard was to appear before me. Occam's razor tells me that I'm probably hallucinating, right? And it's more likely that I'm hallucinating than that there's an actual God standing here before me. Or it's even more likely that someone's playing a trick on me, like there's some kind of trickery happening, trying to convince me. Maybe it's an alien civilization. Even that's more plausible than God's existing. So, Jesse, for me, I see how the utility of God belief has really helped a lot of people along their journey through life. And I get that. And I know that we are built on the foundation of a lot of those hierarchies, those what I call artistic forms of inspiration that have carried humanity forward. And I see the utility that humanity has gotten from those hierarchical structures. But I'm not convinced, kind of like Jordan Peterson, he's not convinced that there's actually gods, but he does adopt the metaphor. But I don't really play in that. I think life's a lot more simple than that. And I think we can view these things like the Bible as literature, as stories and fables.
And so what type of demonstration would you need to see that would convince you that there is a God?
I don't know.
So if you don't know, how would you recognize it if you don't know what you need to see?
Well, it would it's kind of like if someone was to say, like,
oh, let me do it this way.
Sure.
If you don't know, how do you know that you're not seeing it already or have not seen it? Since you don't know what you're looking for.
Right, but that's why we put the burden of proof on the claim maker, right? Because I could say to you, Jesse, I have invisible fairies flying around my head right now. You just can't see them, right? And you
Right.
don't know that they're not there.
But I will
But
believe you that you see them.
you would believe that I see them.
Yes.
Like you would err on the side of, okay, I'm not being deceptive. I'm actually seeing
I
them.
believe that
But
you really think that you
but
see those things.
do you think that they like, would you believe that they are manifesting themselves in reality or just in my imagination?
In your reality, it may be an illusion of real reality, but to you, it would seem to be real. And
Well,
so,
I agree with that. I think, and honestly, Jesse, I think that's what happens when people feel like they're having some transcending experience with gods. I think they're imagining it, but I think they're imagining it in a meaningful way.
so I want to go back to, if you don't know what you're looking for to prove that there is a God. I just thought of something. How do you know that you have not seen it already?
Well, I suppose I wouldn't know that, right? Because there's different versions of gods, right? If like maybe Vishnu has shown himself to me. Hashtag Zer
Is
whatever.
Vishnu a
whatever
drag
the-
queen or something? Who is
Well,
Vishnu?
I've heard she's got like 5 tits or something.
Let me ask you this. Do you believe that God need to prove himself to you for you to know, Travis, that there is a God? You think he need to prove that to you?
Well, there's a lot there. You say he, and you know, I haven't seen a demonstration that there is any God, but let's say if there is a God, I don't, you know, I wouldn't assume that God has any requirement to demonstrate himself to me or anything. I'm basically, you know, I'm a biological entity using my senses to kind of feel my way through life and enjoy the cinema of this pleasure-filled existence that's presented to me. And that's kind of how I go about it. And then you know, when it comes to what is going on in reality, I rely on the scientific method. And then on the ought side, I attempt to maximize well-being for myself and those around me from a moralistic standpoint.
And so you don't believe that he need to prove anything to you for you to know that he exists, right?
Well, yeah, I would say, yeah, it's weird. Like he wouldn't necessarily have any kind of intrinsic rule that he needs to reveal himself to me. But I would find it very interesting, of course. And I'm not, atheism isn't about claiming there are no gods. Atheism is simply claiming that I don't believe that the God claims have been demonstrated. But
how do you know if you don't know what the demonstration looked like?
Well, I just don't know what that would look like, right, Jesse? Like if someone's going to say, oh, okay, well, the cry of a baby or the laughter of a baby is evidence of the majesty of God, then I would like, people say this all the time, or someone undergoes chemotherapy in the hospital, right? And then people do this big prayer circle around them for them to be well. And then the person becomes well, and then everyone's like, oh, God had a hand in this. And I'm like, well, where's the demonstration that God had a hand in this? And it wasn't just the chemotherapy that helped this person to be well.
Did you create yourself?
No, I come from my parents. They had sex, and here I am.
And who made that possible?
Well, I would say their pleasure drive that drives their nervous system brought them together, and they had sex.
So you believe that there could be a God, it's just that you don't believe in that.
Well,
in him at this point.
Yeah, so I talk about, okay, in the realm of possibility,
right,
anything's possible,
okay,
including Zeus, right? And I think, Jesse, you might be worshiping the wrong God. It's possible that you're worshiping the wrong God, or it's even possible that there are no gods, right? So that's all possible.
No, that's impossible.
Okay, but on the side of plausibility,
that's impossible. There is a God.
Okay. Let me ask you this though: is it possible that you have the wrong God?
No, there's only one.
How is that? But how can you have that conviction? Faith?
I can see.
Okay, tell me what you see. I'm interested.
That there is a God and that we are not God. There's only one God. Everything else is an imitation. It's false. It's an illusion. It's not real.
So how do you differentiate between Zeus and Yahweh?
Well, I don't know who Zeus is. Who is Zeus?
The thunder,
What?
the god of lightning and thunder.
Oh, I don't know about Zeus.
Well, my point is, Jesse, that there are, tens of thousands of gods that have been believed and presented throughout human history.
Just because they believed it, that didn't make it true. There's only one God.
I agree.
But because of time, I want to move forward.
Yeah, sure.
Your parents are atheists as well?
I think they probably are, yes. We actually haven't really gotten into too many in-depth conversations about it, but I think my parents are. My dad was raised under some religious ideologies, but it seems like my dad dropped those after he left home. And I'm not sure my mom was ever theistic. So
while growing up with them, did they indicate that they were atheists or Christians?
No, there wasn't. My dad would actually talk, like we would have talks about gods. And I think at one point I could even remember my mom talking about reincarnation as an idea. So, and this stuff really sparked abstract thinking in me, I think, or at least opened the door to, oh, okay, wow, there's this realm of existential belief connected to entities and gods and the reincarnation and things like this that people believe. And that really got me interested in the realm of philosophy.
How do you see your world around you now with all the mob attacks in America, the burning of buildings, stealing and killing and robbing and
just
all the stuff that's going on? What does it look like to you?
Well, it's for lack of a better term, it's just a big pile of immoral shit. I don't. All of these, look, I'm going to talk in Jesse Lee language right now. It's beta. It's all, these, and I heard you talking before, stay calm, don't overreact. You're right. Strength is not about going out and hurting others, burning other people's businesses down, storming the Capitol building like a loser.
Yeah.
And then these idiot media people, idiots come out and somehow try to blame Trump for that. Trump didn't tell people to storm the building.
Right.
And they talk about it like it's some unanimous truth. Look, I'm a skeptic. I have no allegiances to any political party. I call it like it is based on my skepticism. And what I see, there's mass indoctrination through mainstream media that people are just that eating up. As long as it agrees with them, as long as it agrees with their preconceived notion, they're going to eat it up. And that's what's happening. And it happens on Fox News as well with the right wingers as well. And we're really seeing the death of these media forms, I think. Especially, I think things are going more the realm of discussions like this and podcasts and things like that, long form discussions, because these people are trying to play at people's confirmation bias and win views off that. And I think people are becoming too smart for that. Skepticism's on the rise. I wish to instill a solid foundation in skepticism with everyone so that they know how to avoid being indoctrinated by things like insidious media or insidious articles.
Who, in your opinion, who is behind the destruction of America and why?
Well, the social extremists are, and the social extremists exist on all sides of any political spectrum. But it seems like, and the reason why I would have voted for Trump as opposed for Biden, I got to read this. This is what feeds it. This came out January 11th, 2021. This article, Biden, priority for economic business relief to be made based in part on race and gender. Can you believe that someone who's about to be president would come out and say that they're going to have some kind of relief policy that they're going to base a part of it's going to be based on race and gender? Are you kidding me? This is an example of racism and sexism in its purest form. And look, I know you like to say, Jesse, that racism doesn't exist, but if you're going to give people aid based on race, like you'll have, like, let's say it's a white family who's really struggling and they're trying to keep their business going. They're seeking aid and be like, sorry, we got 3 or 4 black guys in the line. We're going to talk to them first. This is fucked, man. Do you agree, or am I?
No, it's totally
I
evil. It's wrong. It's evil, and it should not be happening in America. It's crazy to see it.
Look, and I will say, Jesse,
and it's crazy to see that look like he's getting away with doing it that way as well. I never thought I would see something like this so openly wrong happening in my country.
Yeah, this one's really bad. Seeing this headline, I thought it was. I really had to investigate to see what was going on here, but I thought it was just, some extreme right-wing group trying to make it sound like Biden said that. But this is an actual idea that's probably going to be rolled out, like racist practice from the government.
Amazing. Last time we spoke, you thought the idea of South African style land appropriation happening in America and Canada was a conspiracy theory. Do you still think that?
Sorry, South African what?
You know how in South Africa the blacks have taken over there?
Oh yeah.
And they're taking away the land from the whites without compensation. And I told you that is happening in America. It's coming about. And you didn't believe that. You thought it was a conspiracy theory. Do you still believe that?
I don't see any evidence that is happening. Why do you think that's happening?
They have put radical black women in these positions, Congress, mayors, police departments, and city councils and things like that. And now they are passing bills to push reparations. And reparation means to take the land from the white people without compensation. And there were a couple of rallies, at least one that has come to mind, where Black Lives Matter were in Portland, I believe, maybe Seattle, and they were telling the white people to come out of the buildings that belong to them. And, because they're passing these laws against white people, and they're going to take your land and there's nothing you can do about it.
Okay, but why
by
do you
way
think
of reparations.
Why do you think it's white people land? Because you're talking
because
about
white people found it, discovered, and built the greatest country on this side of heaven, and they own the property that they bought. They own the land. But the blacks want it back without having to earn it or pay for it.
But you grew up under Jim Crow, right? The blacks played a huge role in building this country.
They did.
Yeah, well, I mean,
what did they do?
As part of the workforce, right?
What did they do?
Well, as part of the workforce, working the land.
What did they do?
They worked the land.
What do you mean when you said work the land? What do you mean?
Well, they worked the land. They help under let's just look under the when there was pure slavery in the South. They helped build businesses, like even if it was for their masters, they helped build their masters' businesses, right? By working.
But that's what's, I mean, anytime you want to build something, you got to hire an employee to help you, a person to help you, right?
Right. Okay,
and when I was growing up in Alabama, this type of language wasn't even around, as far as I know. I'm sure up north somewhere they were doing it. But black people worked and built their own houses. They bought their own businesses.
Yeah,
they
so
built great cities
to the country, right?
But that doesn't give them a right to try to take something without earning it from white people.
I agree. No,
What's your
agree
point?
that it doesn't give them a right to take it.
So why did you say
anyone?
Black people built the country, helped build the country, if they're now trying to take the land without compensation?
No, but you just said that they built their own homes and stuff as well, which I agree. Like there were some successful Black businessmen that came out at Jim Crow.
But what does that have to do with taking the land without compensation?
No, I agree with you on that point.
You agree with me about what?
You shouldn't just be able to take people's land.
Right.
Of course. Like
Do
people
you,
own
so
their,
now South Africa is alive and well and happening in America. Do you still see it as a conspiracy theory?
yeah, I see it as conspiratorial to claim that there are black people out there, or even let's say white people in government on the let's say the far liberal side, on the left wing, that are trying to put policies through where black people are going to be able to take land from white people. I think that's
Do
conspiratorial.
you believe that it's not happening in South Africa as well?
Well, in South Africa, it's a there's a lot of gangs and kind of like guerrilla warfare groups that are
No, it's a government there.
Well, the government, no, look, the government is not doing enough.
The government is taking the land from the whites in South Africa. Do you believe that?
Yeah, yes.
And do you believe that it can and is going to happen in America?
No.
Why not?
Look, I have a couple of South African followers on my Discord, and we've talked about this a few times, and they raised this question to me, like, why don't you think this is going to happen in America? I think America, as much as it may be hard to believe because of how much of the radical sides of everything we get in the United States due to media, but the United States is so much more united than Africa is. It really is.
Where?
It's just
Where are we so united more so than Africa?
In the general population, Jesse, everyone gets along. It's the two ends of the radical political spectrum that we hear from.
Do you think white people in the general population would get along with blacks if whites were themselves? You think the blacks would accept that?
Did you say were themselves,
Yeah.
like able to express themselves
Right.
the way they want? Look, I think whites, and look, in general, I think whites, blacks, Asians, Hispanics are expressing themselves the way they want.
You think they're doing
But-
that in the general population?
I think they are in
Where?
the general population,
Where?
but not. Well, we don't get to see it, Jesse.
It's not happening.
Well, I think it is. Like,
I wish it was.
We don't. Here's the thing: if it was, if everyone was kind of buying into these extremist ideologies, there would be, these groups would be much larger, right? Like these radical groups, the Black Lives Matter group,
They are
Antifa
much
groups,
larger. They are. Black Lives Matter now control the black churches, the preachers, education, everything.
Well, that's a
because the
problem.
people are afraid. So they're not. It is happening in the general population. Hold on, Travis. Let me take a quick break.
Yeah, you bet. No worries.
Because I brought you on late. So, Travis, I want to go back to this South African thing. You do believe that the black government in South Africa is taking the land from the whites without compensation. You do believe that, right?
Well, here's the update I was pulling up, because I hadn't seen the recent updates in this. But South Africa's ruling party is forging ahead with plans to change the constitution to make it easier for the government to expropriate land without paying for it.
Yeah.
So there's a push to do this.
They're already doing it, but now they're making it part of the Constitution.
Right. But the ones who were
Do you
doing
believe
it before,
that?
Jesse, the ones who were doing it before government approval, those are considered violent thugs, right?
But they were
Like
of the
killing
government,
farmers.
though. They were members of the government.
See, I'm not 100% clear on whether they were
Okay.
members of the government or
So
not.
in South Africa, they got rid of the police departments. They made it impossible for whites to protect themselves. They took away the rights to bear arms, all kinds of things, right? Is that happening in America?
No. And
They are not defunding police departments where you have less officers now.
Are they?
You don't know about that? Do you live in America?
they-
Where are you?
I'm in Canada, man.
Oh,
we're
you're
doing
in-
just fine up here.
Oh, I see. So you don't know what's happening in America.
Well,
I'm thinking you're in America. You look white.
No. I know a bit of what's going
You
on,
look
but
white. Oh, Canadians are white.
I'm a shit mix of a bunch of different ethnicities.
So let me just tell you then, in America, they are putting in radical, the worst of the worst in government. And in America, they are defunding and destroying police departments around the country.
Have they started doing that, though?
Oh, yes.
Or is it just talk?
It's already happening.
Okay.
They cut back on funding the police department, crime
So did
going
Trump
out
do
of
that
country.
then?
No.
then
The
who's
local
doing
government of the state
okay.
governments.
Okay.
And they are defunding police department, crime going through the roof. They're letting prisons and jail people out. No bail bond anymore. Mob justice. And now they are putting in these radical in position of power, the black ones, and the little white liberal ones, and they are pushing reparations. And so exactly what they did in Mommy Africa to build a black government to take away the land from the whites is happening in America right now.
I don't think that there's any evidence that that's the goal.
What more evidence do you need?
Well, you would need to see someone. You would need to unveil this coup to steal land away from whites. Man, it's like there's a causation correlation problem here. It's true that I'm sure it's true that there's some defunding and stuff happening. There are radical political groups. I declared ideological war on Black Lives Matter a long time ago.
Yeah.
So look, I see these radical groups and how they're operating. But my point, Jesse, is that I don't think this is the general taste of society wanting to go along with this radicalness. I think it's very, very loud, small portions of the United States.
Really? Do you think white Americans should wait until they lose the land? Or should they get involved to stop this from happening?
I don't think it's a white versus black versus Asian whatever thing. I don't think there's any race war or even a cold race war element.
Do you smoke pot?
Yeah, I do actually. I was going to ask you, Jesse. I was going to ask you.
Amazing. No wonder you don't see what's going on.
He black.
Wow.
Jesse, wait, I wanted to ask you though, before, can we just sidebar this?
Yes.
Have you ever done a psychedelic? A psychedelic drug?
I did one time.
Oh yeah.
And it was a trip.
Yeah, what can you tell me quickly what that was like? I was just talking about it the other day.
It was called, at the time, it was called window pane. And it was a thin little piece of paper, right? Thin little piece of paper.
Acid.
And you put it in your mouth, it melts in your mouth.
Yeah.
And I was at a backyard party once when I was in my 20s. And someone said, hey, Jesse, you should try this. I didn't know what it was at the time, right? So I just took it. And all of a sudden, everything looked, they had like these fake, like brick frogs, you know how people put those statues and things in their backyard?
Yeah.
All those things came alive. I'm like, what the?
Amazing.
I'm like, Lord, if you help me through this, I'll never do this again. There were little false snakes in the grass that looked like they came alive as well.
Yeah.
It was a trip.
Do you think that goes against like anything about hallucinating or using drugs goes against your view of what godly behavior would be?
No. I know that if you were a son of God, you would not use those things because you would have perfect peace and you wouldn't have all that conflict going on within yourself, and you wouldn't need those things because you'd be at peace with all things.
So my marijuana use is actually doctor prescribed, as opposed to taking something like naproxen for tension headaches I get from a neurological imbalance between my sympathetic and my parasympathetic nervous system. So the marijuana actually is the best treatment for my kind of unique condition. So yeah.
That's what they all say. So I gotta do this because I am gonna have you back because I have so many things I want to talk to you about. But I just want to see if you know who Chris is. You ever heard of Chris, my social media guy?
Oh, Chris? No, I don't think I have.
No, you met Nick last time, my producer, because he's from Canada. You kind of look like Nick.
You know, all of us Canadians just look the same. We're all inbred up here, Jesse.
Amazing. Oh, I got to ask you this, and then I'm allowed Chris and Joel. You know who Joel is?
No, I don't think so.
My audio engineer, he black.
I have to say something, though. Nick News, before I came on, I was laughing my ass off. That was great. Right when I turned on my headphones, the first thing I heard was female-minded naggers. And then I heard horn-headed Trump supporters, and then organic food man. I thought that was a good segment. It was funny.
Do you guys have a question for him? No? No. They don't have anything. Do you have anything?
Oh.
Because I saw you said, Chris, what the, let me see. You responded to something he said here.
Oh, well, I was the one that posed the question that.
You said, why wait or something?
Yeah, I said, why wait? With the language that even Joe Biden is using, who is, a shell of a man and just a puppet, but he's supposed to be the moderate.
He does look like a puppet, doesn't he?
Yeah, definitely. He's so old and decrepit. But the language that they're using is it's very divisive, and
I'm worried about it. I agree with you that like this new idea for this this basing relief funds on race and gender, like this is the kind of crap that had me out in social media saying you cannot vote in good conscience for this man and how he's going to be a puppet to the AOCs and the crazies of the world. And I'll throw Kamala Harris in there as well.
Yeah, it's just what I am seeing is a push to further normalize this type of language. And again, we tend, white people especially, because we're so comfortable now, we tend to wait until it's very, very, very bad. And I just think, like, why would you want to wait until we end up like South Africa? We should be doing something now. And because whites are doing something, and I'm being very general when I say that.
I was gonna say, like, I disagree with the premise that whites are comfortable or whites are X or blacks are X, just because we're dealing with such large population circles and cultural pockets that it's just the variations across cultural pockets are just so bad.
I understand that, but I would say that it's not an inflammatory statement to say that the white people in general are the majority of this country, and that's just how it is. And they made they made the laws, they made the government, they've made everything in this country. And I don't feel.
Oh wait! You said laws, government, yes, originally.
Yeah.
But then you said made everything. But like I just pointed out in my conversation with Jesse, they built their own homes. They worked for the man when they were first brought over on slave ships. So you have to concede that black people, as well as Asian people, as well as brown people, all kinds of people helped build America. But I'm willing to say that perhaps the way history played out, one race contributed more than others.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at.
It's weird to racialize it, though.
They're forcing me into a corner. I understand that they participated in it, but again, like Jesse said, like there's the employers and there's like the founder and the creator.
Sure.
And I would say, again, generally speaking, the country that is America is it's a white country. It's specifically a WASP country, if you know what that means. Sorry, I'm trying to get back to my
matter of fact. If it wasn't for white people, there would be no America. And where would these people go? They would be home somewhere, or going to some other country destroying it. I got to do this because of time. Did you want to respond to that? Then I got to end it.
No, go ahead. I know you.
I have some quick questions for you that I really wanted to get quick answers on.
Yeah, okay. I'll be as quick as I can.
Is it true that in Canada they instituted a curfew where the police officers are enforcing this on the streets?
I believe in some. I think in Alberta there is a curfew, but I would have to. I don't know for sure, Jesse. But if you're seeing it reported, it's likely that it is going on.
Is it and the people are accepting it?
Not everyone, and like I said, I haven't seen articles specific to this, but if it is going on, there will be strong resistance, because there is strong resistance to authoritarianism, just like there is in the United States and Canada. Most people on the conservative side of the political spectrum are going to be quite have a distaste for authoritarianism.
Amazing. In Canada, I've been told, I don't know, but I've been told that the men are very weak in Canada. Is that true?
No.
Men are strong in Canada?
Yeah, men in Canada aren't going around violently hurting people, burning down buildings. The machismo. So I basically look at the machismo levels when I'm looking at, maleism from country to country. I look at the machismo levels. The machismo levels in Canada versus, say, the United States are quite low. When you're looking at the alphas and the beta types up here, there aren't these displays of serious amounts of violence, terrorism, gun violence, stabbings, and things like that. It's a very the psychological state of the man in Canada is at a pretty damn good damn good place.
So if that's true, why are they locked down and taking handouts?
Taking handouts there's the CERB, the relief. The relief funds are for people who are being told that they can't do business right now because of COVID, right? So it's like people don't have a place to sell their product or sell their service, whatever they're doing, because of the COVID lockdown. So the government has had to step in and say, well, here's some cash that you would have had if this wasn't happening.
Do the men, and you don't know all men in Canada, but for the most part, do the men in Canada, do they believe in God?
No,
they don't.
In general, no. There's still cultural religion, like there's a lot of cultural Christians, a lot of cultural Catholics. But I'll tell you, man, it's hard to find an actual convicted God believer up here. They exist. I'm not saying there is nothing up here, but in general, it's like people are kind of cherry picking and keeping the cultural elements that they like, and then throwing out the crap that they don't like the anti-homosexual rhetoric or any of that stuff in the Old Testament that's for any moral creature, I think is distasteful.
So someone want to know, are you saying that the men have been neutered in Canada?
Am I saying that?
Yeah.
No, I think if anyone listened to what I just said, some beta comment there. but if people are listening to what I said, I think.
But why would the men allow anyone to take their relationship from them with God away?
Well, no one took it away, Jesse. That's just the magic of skepticism and progress. You're going to start weeding out unsubstantiated beliefs in your life, because look, I want to believe as many true things and as few false things as possible in my life, because I see true things that actually exist in reality, leading to amazing things for humanity, like rockets going up into space and expanding the inspirational power of science, or the creation of vaccines, and all of these things are based on the the elements of reality that are exposed by the scientific method and how we can use them. We build these scientific models and voila. But that's all based on true things about reality, not just like things we want to believe or based on scripture. Or whatever.
Amazing. And so for now, my final word, this year, my focus is on love and enduring, right? And the last time
I agree, man.
last time we spoke, you said love was a difficult term for you. Is that still the case?
Well, what I mean by that is feelings that serve your well-being in a positive way towards things or another.
And what is a man?
A man. I like this question. A man is a biological male, measurable biological male.
That's a man?
That's a man.
Amazing.
Do you now if you're going to ask me what a, because look, Jesse, you know as well as I do, there are extreme on the extreme side spectrum of beta males, and on the and also the extreme alphas. We got a vast collection of different men on this planet, right?
Well, in real alpha, an alpha male would not be extreme. If a male is extreme, then he's a beta on either side. Alpha male would not be that way. Travis, tell the folks how to listen to your podcast and whatever else you want to promote.
Everyone, please join us on YouTube, youtube.com/Pangburn. You'll be connected to our Discord server there, and we have conversations on our Discord server every single day. Interesting conversations like Jesse and I are having today. And I hope you'll understand by witnessing this exchange that I'm all about free speech and giving people an opportunity to say their piece, treating each other like human beings, not being radical with your belief systems or your ideological underpinnings, coming to the table to engage in the war of ideas like Jesse and I did today. That's what it's all about. And it's not about cancel culture. It's not about social extremism. Pangburn is just about the intellectual warm blanket. Jesse and I could be sitting together on 2 armchairs in front of a fire, sipping our favorite drink, having conversations, and we're not going to be wanting to have feelings of wanting to punch each other, attack each other. This is the way the human being needs to be. Yeah. If you're having these feelings of violence towards people you're disagreeing with, you really need to do some philosophical check-ins to see why that's going on and better yourself.
Amazing. Thank you, man. Happy New Year to you, and I look forward to talking to you again.
You too, Jesse, and peace. And peace. I'm glad to hear what your pursuits are for 2021, and I'll be there right with you.
Right on. Thank you, man. Amazing.